Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Blue Wings Cardfight Vanguard Aqua Force Standard deck profile for October 2019. I've been getting a couple requests to do, I would say, this budget base Vanguard deck for the Blue Wings support we received in the My Glorious Justice booster pack. It's a really interesting deck. The whole point of the Blue Wings units focus on the heal trigger. Whenever you drive check a heal trigger, you get a different effect based on the Blue Wings unit. We actually don't have a grade 3 for the deck yet, so I figured I'd focus on more of the budget based oriented Aquaforce deck for this Blue Wings deck. Not so much focusing on Maelstrom since it's a little harder to acquire, and the Blue Wings all being pretty budget friendly all together with the different grade 1s and 2s we have, along with the support I want to add in just for a little more pressure with all you can do with this being an Excel deck as well. Some of the numbers are shifted all over the place for the ratios just to focus on more of the Blue Wing abilities, since we have different ones that focus on search and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the monsters, I figured I'd make the main grade 3 of the deck be focused on Naval Gazer Dragon. On Vanguard, when it attacks, if it is the third battle of that turn or more, counterblast 1, stand one of your rear guards, and this unit gets plus 10,000 until end of that battle. Just a good, really pressure-based unit, being able to get that power and also stand up one of your units, whether it be on the Excel circle or on one of your rear guard circles. Naval Gazer really does come in handy for those effects. For the backup grade 3, you can mix around this number with the next grade 3. I only had the one Naval Gazer. I don't know where the rest of mine went off to, but like I said, you can mix around putting in a fourth version of Hydro Hurricane and having that one be your main backup grade 3 as opposed to the next one I'll show after these four lineup, and then max out your copies of Naval Gazer Dragon as well. But with Hydro Hurricane on Vanguard or rear, when placed, counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. And on Vanguard, when it attacks, if it is the first battle of that turn, this unit gets plus 10,000 until the end of that battle. So it's basically, I use it mostly for the retire skill, since you have a lot of units that can restand when you drive check a heal trigger, so you don't really want the first attack to be your Vanguard, since you could potentially get a heal trigger off of that and then restand a lot of your units. But also, just based on that, you want to focus on Naval Gazer and then have some backup as well for some other power-based units. But you also have multiple units on the field, so if you have Excel circles, that's more attacks you can get off. So that's why I really like the next grade 3 unit as a backup. But in the end, it comes down to player choice depending on what unit you want to go for your main grade 3. I would definitely focus on Naval Gazer Dragon, with my third backup choice being Marine General of White Waves, Philogates, with this Philogatos, I believe. There's no E there. When your Vanguard attacks, this unit and that unit get plus 5,000 until end of turn. It also has the Excel marker, which is very useful if you do have to ride this unit as a Vanguard ride turret. But if I were to mix around the numbers, I would obviously want the 4 Naval Gazer and then potentially the 4 Hydro Hurricane, since you have the retire effect, like I said, on rear guard or Vanguard with Hydro Hurricane, and both possess the Excel markers, so you can always get those additional circles and go for either Excel 2 or Excel 1 depending on the playstyle you want to go for that game. But this would be my preferred ratio. I decided to stick with 8 grade 3s as well as the lineup, just to go with them, for the focus being solely on the grade 2s and 1s of the deck, which we'll now move on to with one of our main grade 2 units being Blue Wings of Great Cause, Phalios, being a Blue Wings deck profile, and haven't talked about any of the Blue Wings yet. But on Vanguard or rear, once per turn, when you drive check reveals a heal trigger, you may stand this unit. So remember, it has to be the drive check, not a damage check, for the Blue Wings to gain their effects. You stand it for that pressure, and that is the common trait with all of the Blue Wings, having that stand power. So even with the grade 1s and 2s boosting, you can hit for those stand pressure attacks, having a whole arsenal restand if you get a heal trigger. Having the 4 in the deck, obviously you're limited to 4 heals in a deck. If it was a critical trigger with this skill, I'd say this deck would definitely be a lot more broken than the fact that it has to rely on the heal trigger. And also on rear, once per turn when it attacks a Vanguard, if you have another unit with Blue Wings in its card name, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, and this unit gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. If you have 4 or more other units with Blue Wings in their card name, stand this unit instead of plus 5,000. So it's just another pressure-based attack with this card, and we run a good majority of the blue wings, which is why I focused on the grade 1 and 2 ratio being the majority of the blue wing support for this deck to focus on the different skills we have for them, along with sharing the stand ability when you reveal a heal trigger. The overall search makes Phalios one of the best units for the blue wings in the deck for sure. And then for added backup for the grade 2 units, I run 4 blue wings of Obduracy Simeon. On Vanguard or Rear, it has the same once per turn. When you drive check reveals a heal, you may stand this unit. So just having this and Phalios as your main go-to grade 2 units on the front lines, you have the stand pressure for multiple attacks. If you have no other units with blue wings in their card names, this unit gets minus 5,000. That includes the Guardians. It just has that 11,000 power as well that you can rely on as a ride target. Definitely does come in handy for Excel units, since we don't normally have Excel units with plus power without any other negative consequences. But as long as you have those other blue wings, which is very, very easy to do in this deck, Simeon won't give you any negative consequences along with that. So definitely another 4 for that power and the fact that it is a restander when you get the heal trigger. And lastly, I just have one more grade 2 spot filled out with a Metal Cut Sailor. Just another ride target to go for. It's not a blue wings, but just with all the ratios together, I thought of Tri-Sting Dragon for another backup grade 3. So if you want to put that in as another spot, you can fill in this spot and run a 9 grade 3 lineup. The grade 2 count's kind of small though, since I did focus on the blue wing grade 1s as a big part of the deck as well, just to have the pressure to fill out with Phalios as well. But just as that last spot, you can try this spot for sure for that grade 2 cut. And that is it for the grade 2s. We'll now move on to the grade 1s. I run 4 blue wings of Resonance Maxios. Just like the grade 2 blue wings, on Vanguard or Rear, once per turn, when your drive check reveals a heal trigger, you may stand this unit. And on Rear, during your turn, if you have another unit with blue wings in its card name, this unit gets plus 5,000. If you have 4 or more other units with blue wings in its card name, it gets plus 10,000 instead of 5,000. So unlike the restand power of Phalios, you have just additional power with this unit, giving it plus 10 instead of plus 5, and you'll have a good majority of your units have the pressure for all the different blue wings you run in the deck. So very, very useful having this card at 4 of. It's a 7k power, so riding it definitely does have some of the negative consequence, but that's just what you have to go with for the blue wing cards. We have some other 8ks in the deck, which can be more beneficial ride targets, and just the fact that it also says Vanguard or Rear for the restand power. It gives you the option to restand on the Vanguard circle as well. So it's very, very scary when you can make that happen, especially early game with your drive checks also with these cards. And I also run 4 blue wings of Faith Basilia with this one, having the same effect as I've stated before as the restand power on Vanguard or Rear once per turn when your drive check reveals a heal. Having this pressure early game definitely does come in handy with the deck. Makes you want to call out a lot of units just to restand all the blue wings we have on the field as well. And on Rearguard, when placed, counterblast 1, reveal 3 cards from the top of your deck, put any number of cards with blue wings in their card name from among them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So with that, you have more search for a good majority of the deck being blue wings, so you can have more units to call out to the field, or even just give you the potential ride targets, being able to search out some of the grade 2 units we run in the deck as well. So I definitely like to run 4 of Basilia as well for this option. And I also run 4 blue wings of Empathy Macarios. I definitely did max out the grade 1 count for this deck, since the majority are a lot of powerful blue wings units. With this one, once again, having the restand power. And on Rear, if you have another unit with blue wings in its card name, this unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects. If you have 4 or more other units with blue wings in their card name, all of your rear guards cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects. So it's a great way to get around retire effects. Macarios definitely does help to protect everything on the field. As long as you have big numbers, it's not as big of a risk for your cards being able to have that majority on the field. Gives them more protection from other things as well. So Macarios definitely does come in handy. It's also the 8k power, so most of the time it's a preferred ride target, since I can hit my opponents who run Force and their 8k power if I go second for the attack. Other than that, if I go first, riding the 7k isn't that big of a deal, if it means I can save Macarios for more of my protection plays later on. And I also run 4 Blue Ward Command. I decided to stick with this for the Sentinel spot, since we're going for a budget version of the deck. With this one, it's the when placed, draw a card, discard a card from your hand, and when placed, discard a card from your hand for the generic Sentinel effect as well. If you want to run the draw trigger Sentinel instead, you can try filling in this spot with additional grade 2 power if you wanted to increase your 12k count, or go for some of the other more expensive units for the deck. You can give that a shot, or increase your grade 3 count. Just focus more on the blue wings plays to remember those, so you always have those attacks to rely on as well. And that is it for the grade 1s. We'll now move on to the grade 0s. For your starter, just going with the Blow Bubble Draco Kid, the generic when wrote upon draw a card. I thought it fit the deck most with the different grade 3 units we run, just art-wise preference. And then for the trigger lineup, decide to stick with Rainbow as well, just for the grade 2 count. If you don't get a heal trigger, you still have the front trigger pressure. So for Blue Storm Marine General Despina, for Enemy Seeking Seagull Soldier, for the critical and front trigger lineup. And I also run for Sea Otter Soldier for the draw trigger. This would be the Sentinel spot if you want to put that in. And I also discussed already what you would take out for the additional grade 1 spots. And also for Medical Officer of the Rainbow Elixir, the most important card in the Blue Wings deck, since the whole deck gets its power plays when you drive check a heal trigger. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If any of you have any more fun requests for decks I can do for the standard or premium format, I would love to hear them down below. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.